Hello, this is my 16.1 presentation on types of coaching, looking at different ways and concepts of coaching sports. The first type of skill we're going to look at is demonstration. This is often used with younger students and also with beginners. It's a tool used by coaches to show specific techniques and skills to the students. It's an effective technique when using 3 key points, which are big and obvious movements to help learners. Some examples of this could be a possible basketball layup or even a badminton smash. So there are some advantages and disadvantages of using the demonstration technique when coaching. Some advantages could be that it's easy to show skills that are hard to explain verbally. Also, learners can use this technique to help to see what's wrong with their own technique. It's very effective for visual learners in particular, and it's very easy to prevent misunderstanding because they're actually watching you do it, so it's less likely that they'll misunderstand what you're trying to get across to them. As well as the advantages, there are some obvious disadvantages. So demonstration isn't going to be helpful if the coach themselves can't do the skill that they're trying to explain. Another disadvantage is it can be tedious for more advanced players. So if they already know the skill and there's people that don't and the coach is trying to explain it, it can be quite boring for the advanced players because they already know. Demonstration is not always applicable for all sports, for example swimming, unless the coach actually gets into the water. It might be harder for them to demonstrate specific swimming techniques, and also the demonstration might not be seen by all people if it's a big group, so therefore that means that the coach will have to repeat the demonstration, and this may have to be done several times, and therefore this could make it quite a time-consuming process. The next technique is adaptation. This is where a coach can adapt a session to better suit the group that they are coaching or working with. Again, it's used with beginners and people with low confidence, or possibly people with disabilities. This could be advancing the session, so making it harder for people, or possibly toning it down to make it easier for people if certain people are struggling within the group. Types of adaptation could be differentiation, so separating people out, possibly based on ability, and this could also be with the grouping task. So with this is possibly separating people who have possibly got the skill that you're trying to explain, take them off into a separate group, learning further skills, and then you can then work on the people left behind who are possibly struggling on the skill, and then you can help them so that it's more, not necessarily a one-to-one, but that will leave them with a smaller group, so it'll be easier for them to understand and explain. Then you'll get more time to spend with them to help them understand the technique that you're trying to get across to them. Again, like demonstration, there are also advantages and disadvantages to the adaptation technique. So some advantages are that it improves players at all different levels. So no matter if you're an expert or you're an amateur or even a beginner, it can always this type of technique can always help you. Again, it's good with helping beginners, and it allows everyone to be involved. So it doesn't discriminate people that can't possibly do the skill that you're trying to explain. It will allow for those people to participate in the sport that you're trying to help with. And it can also help include people with disabilities, which links to this one here as well. Because if they have a disability, some coaching techniques will not necessarily allow for this, but it might hinder their participation within the activity. Also, some disadvantages could be adaptation could be a lot harder with a bigger group, and also it's not possible to adapt every single session. Again, like demonstration, it can be quite boring for some advanced players, and it can also discourage participation, because if, say for example, there was a group of friends and 9 out of the 10 friends got the skill and that one person didn't, if the 9 friends went into a more advanced group and the one person didn't, then they might not want to participate as much as they would if they were in a big group with their friends. And it can also be demotivating for strugglers, because if they know that a group has been sent away to do another skill, then that can make them feel as though they're maybe not as good anymore, which is what you don't want to happen. So that this can obviously be a massive disadvantage to using the adaptation technique, because it can demotivate people, which is the last thing that you want to happen. And the third technique and final technique that we're going to look at today is goal setting. This is obviously setting targets for teams or individuals within a sport. So goals are discussed and agreed with between either a player or team before the goals are set. So the coach will speak to either the whole team or an individual player to set a goal for them. Goals are done within every single sport, but they do vary based on experience and ability. And goals can be based on previous goals set or even previous seasons. So if, say for example, a rugby team could be given a goal to finish in the top 3 in the league, and that could be added on from what they had last season. Possibly it could have been top 5 last season. Then you could push it a little bit further to motivate the players to finish into the top 3 of this current season. So that's what goal setting could be for a team, for example. With goal setting, we use a thing called SMART target, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound targets. So the first one's specific, and this would be specific to the sport. Measurable will be something that obviously you're able to measure throughout the season to see if the individual player or team is hitting the target that they're meant to achieve. Achievable is making it a target that they're actually going to be able to get, and I guess this kind of links to realistic as well, because there's no point in making a target for a team or a player that is just completely unrealistic and they're never going to achieve it, because that can be demotivating for players. And the target also has to be time bound as well, so there's no point in making a target for like 10 years in the future, because that can also be quite demotivating for a team or player, knowing it's so far in the future. They might get uninterested and demotivated due to that fact. Considerations with goal setting could be outcome goals. So basically, what are you expecting to achieve through these goals? Who set them, which would be a question of who gave the targets. So this could be a coach, manager, or even an individual player themselves, or possibly even the captain of the team. Process is what you're doing in between that time to make sure that you do reach the goal that's been set for you. And context and standard is the experience and ability of the player or team that the coach is working with. So examples of goal setting, starting from the smallest to the largest type of goal. So a small target could be for a player to get more shots on target in a game of football, for example. So this is a short target because this could be within possibly 1 or 2 games. A medium type target would be to return to match fitness. So at the start of the season, not many players are fully fit, but by possibly November or Christmas time, they're back to full match fitness. So that would be a medium target for them. And then a long-term target would be something like winning the league, because obviously that's over a prolonged period of time, which therefore makes it a long target. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for watching.